What's up, guys? Today we're going to look at some charts. We're going to look at Bitcoin. We're going to look at as many charts as possible so we can get an idea of the overall picture, so we can try to get an idea of what direction Bitcoin is going in the short term. In the long term, very bullish, very bullish. I have targets between 95 and 200,000 at the height of the next bull run, which I believe could happen anywhere between the end of 2024 and the end of 2024 to all the way to the end of 2025. Somewhere around that is where I think we're gonna really be parabolic before we start dropping again. But I'll get to all that. So without further ado, let's do this. Bitcoin dominance, let's start there. 49%, 50%. I've said that Bitcoin dominance is not really going to go as high as some people think. You know, I thought maybe, if anything, we'd go as high as this, but I didn't even think that because it's just at a different time. And the graph just, the chart just doesn't really show that either. Could be that we're stalling out. This could just be a fake out before we come back down. Let's look at total 3, which is total market cap of the crypto space, except for Bitcoin and Ethereum. So basically the altcoins, which is what I'm focusing on. And we've stayed pretty strong, guys, pretty strong. This is good evidence of a possible just bottom area for the markets. I mean, for the altcoins, you know, obviously some altcoins have gone lower. You know, this was the previous not all-time low, or cycle low, right? And some have gone lower than this in comparison. Like, for example, Labs Group is the latest example of this. Look, it's gone lower than that. And some have just gone close. And some, for example, like Trias is nowhere near their all-time low because they've been going up all year, basically. Let me see, give an example of a good one. Veracity, more newer ones. I'm focusing on newer ones. Okay, Stobox is one crypto that I bought today. This will give you an example. All-time low is basically around here, right through here, through this area. And since then, while some cryptos have gone and hit, like we just saw, gone below their all-time low, for Stobox, for example, has stayed relatively strong. Stobox, this is a real-world asset play. Okay, they actually tokenize projects for other crypto projects. One example is Landshare, which is a crypto that I like a lot. Landshare has gone back to its all-time lows, but just above it, just slightly above it, so it didn't go below it. It looks like it's holding relatively strong, right? But let's look at Bitcoin. But I will say that some of these areas for altcoins are juicy, and I think, you know, if we go lower, we don't go too much lower. And why? Because I don't think Bitcoin is going to go much lower than, you know, $23,000 if we get that. Okay, this area right here between 25,144 and 23,140 is area I see a strong area of support. Since we've gone up it and we've tested it once, June 23rd or 16th June 23rd, the rebound there was huge, right? And we even went over $30,000, which is a strong area of resistance. This is, to me, the difference between the bear market below it and the bull market above it. All right, so it's a very strong area of interest. But we've gone back down. We've come all the way back down here. We tested it, and you know, we've seen a little bit of movement, but we haven't seen. Let's get a little closer so you can see. We haven't seen this movement from it when we touched it here. We did see it go up though, right? So that should be very interesting to you. You should be like, that's interesting stuff right there. You know, it could be that we just stay here. You know, it could be that for the next month, maybe we go a little lower, slightly lower into this area right here before coming back up and playing more or less in this area, right, guys, between 30,000 and 25,200. I mean, that maybe was just a big, huge oscillation here, guys. Maybe this is all that we're going to do for the next couple of months, you know. It's possible. I don't know. But this is a good area to accumulate, guys, because we really don't know if it's going to go higher from here or if it's going to go lower from here. A lot of people are saying lower, and a lot of things say lower, but it's been saying strong. Let's start looking at the other markets. Look how strong the DXY has been since July 2013. Broke through this descending channel. I thought, okay, let's see what happens once it took his head out, peeked its head out, went up, and then it retested. Once it hit that retest, boom, it was off to the races. I thought we were going to top out more or less right here at 105.7. That's why I have this line here. But no, it just kept going. All right. And so now I'm thinking maybe, we could probably reach up here. If it keeps going like this, could have a retest. It would make sense to have a retest before going up, testing and seeing what happens. I have a hard time personally believing that we're going to go way up here past this local high, which, we basically achieved in September 28th, 2022. Okay. From there, I think, I thought maybe we'd top out right here before it start coming back down, maybe trying to get over and start coming back down. But now, since this has done this, maybe up here, this is going to be the next area between 108.70 and 107.80. All right. Maybe that's where we hit, top out, and come back down, because I have a hard time believing that we're going to go right back up here. I really do. Okay. This is the CME futures. There's a gap down here. Okay, that's another reason. This is another case for the bears, right? A gap down here at 21,000, between 21,000 and 20,000. All right, so it's possible. And normally gaps do get filled, but there's also a gap up here, right, at 35,000, and 34,000. They don't always get filled, but they usually get filled, guys. So I mean, that's one case, but it could just be a wick. Boom. Okay, close it and let's go right back up. The Dow Jones, guys, look at this. Dow Jones all these days, it's just dropping, right? Little head and shoulders, maybe, I don't know. But let's see what this area right here at 33,490 is an area of support. Looks like we're gonna try to get there. It has been before, right? We have spent time over it, but also just underneath it. So we'll see what happens. Again, all these markets are correlated, guys. I don't know if I mentioned that today, but I normally mention that there's a strong correlations between these markets, and they wane, all right? There's not always strong correlations. Sometimes the correlations are positive. Sometimes the correlations are negative. The DXY to Bitcoin is usually a negative, and it's a very strong correlation, but not always. Lately, it hasn't been too strong. Obviously, as you can see, the DXY has been moving lately, and Bitcoin has been staying relatively strong, sideways action. It hasn't been going up, but it hasn't been dropping like a rock either, guys, all right? NASDAQ, the U.S. market, the U.S. stock markets look kind of scary, and that's why maybe, like I said, we could find some wicks. I still have a hard time believing that we go Bitcoin below 23,000. This is the S&P 500, and look at that. Look at this gap right here. Gap will eventually maybe get filled, right? Probably. So maybe this is a local floor before trying to come back up again. But we'll see. Things look kind of, from other markets' perspective, look kind of scary. So I'm actually surprised that Bitcoin, looking at all this stuff, is staying as strong as it has. So maybe it's just, but usually Bitcoin is kind of like a leading indicator. So I mean, it wouldn't be the last one to start going down, but you never know. These things aren't set in stone. Bond yields, I had it up here as where we could possibly hit before topping out and maybe coming back down. That's at 456. 4.56%, and so far last couple of days we've tried to hit it. Today we haven't touched it. Yesterday we did, we got rejected, came back down, but here we are again. So we're knocking at the door, seeing if we're gonna go through. This is also bad for the markets, obviously. If you guys follow crypto, you should know this. U.S. government bond yields going up is bad for the markets overall, but Bitcoin is staying strong. Let's go back to what happened today, and now we are red. Interesting, huh? We tried. Look at this big wick right here at okay, cool. At 26,000, it ended at 26,831, right? And then boom, right back down. To me, that's usually a sign of a liquidity grab. Just people, too many people going short. Market makers are like, now let's get that money. Boom, trigger all their orders or their stop losses before coming back down. But pretty much just sideways. Yeah, you do see wicks at the bottom. You see movements, strong movements up to the top, but rejected right here. We haven't really been able to get past 27,873 to 27,000 range, basically, right? Basically, the 27,000s have been can't go past it. Tried to get there, stay there. We haven't even been able to stay there. We are just right in this zone between 27,000 and 25,140. We're not breaking this area, because if we do break this area, guys, then yeah, maybe we do see the bottom part of this. It's 23,000. But like I said, just wicks, guys. That's basically how I see it. Okay. What else can we look at? Let's look at some interesting cryptos. All right. Because if you're watching this channel, you're probably into low caps, like I am. because low caps is where the money is at. Low cap is where you can make the 100x's. The larger caps are basically preservation of capital, although not necessarily preservation of capital, but more towards preservation of capital. People that have more capital, that they don't want to just gamble basically on low caps. You know, they want to buy the Bitcoins, they want to buy the Ethereums, because you know you'll get some gains, but you're not going to get the drops, the massive drops that you can get in altcoins. But the higher the risk, the higher the reward, right? And I'm looking for 100x's on this bull run, guys, and 100x's are definitely possible. Rio is a real-world asset token that I like. I mentioned yesterday. Okay, interesting area, like I mentioned. Let's talk about ones that I didn't mention yesterday. I touched on land. Land share is a good token. Great area to buy right now. 53 cents. Really cool. Close to their all-time lows, and they're staying pretty strong. It all depends on what the rest of the market does, but this is some bonus stuff for you. Or AI has been one that's been recently catching my attention. I've had it on my list, on my watch list on CoinMarketCap for a while. But thankfully, I didn't buy, because I've basically just been waiting to see where it would bottom out at. And I think this V shape looks like it has. And so I've really been buying from here, and from here. Basically, this whole thing below this mark, below this thing. I've touched a little bit here because I'm like, I want to get to my target goal. But I really, if I can be patient, like wait for a little retest, you know, wait for a little drop right here. Let's look at the fib. Let's put the fibs on this real quick. All right, chain. This is an artificial intelligence play. Okay, more or less right here. So where can we touch? All right, we already touched the 0.28. You know, normally I see them once they do this, I do see them go to the 0.5, 618, and 786. So it is possible. You know, 618, interestingly, in these next couple of days, is more or less right at the 186, which would make sense for it to retrace and test to see. But the 786, you know, farther down the line, right here around October, it could come back down to 172. Possible, right? So that's why I don't really like to chase pumps, you know. So I'm just holding, waiting for the last little bit of money to put in on that I have earmarked for this token to see if we do retrace a little bit. But the other thing that you can also look at is just the overall, right? When in doubt, zoom out. And are we in a pretty good buy zone even right now after this pump? What do you guys think? All-time high, $95. We're at $2.19. So I'd say, yeah, you know, could be that we even come back down and touch here 167, which would be great. You know, I'd reassess it. It could be, but I don't know. Don't chase pumps. But looking at like this, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to nibble, which is what I have done on the other side of this descending line. You know, I have nibbled a little bit here, but the majority of my buys, thankfully, have been here. You know, but we'll see if it comes back. Interesting play. Artificial intelligence. I've really looked at narratives this cycle. I'm looking at real world assets. That's my biggest area of interest, and then gaming, which is I'm still accumulating more gaming projects, and then artificial intelligence. I think those are going to be the three biggest narratives for the next bull run. So that's why I'm accumulating projects within those sectors, that space, that narrative. All right. Let's see if I can give you one more interesting token. Talk about Labs Group. Why not? I think Labs Group is one of those that actually went below its all-time low right here. Okay, we're below. We spent a lot of time like near it, or actually right below it, but we really went below it here. And this is because of some issues between some differences of opinion between the community and the direction the management is taking the project. I personally think the management is doing actually a pretty good job as far as the product that they have. They have this product called StainX. They have 1,000 and growing hotels and clients that way, but the community is upset because, well, Labs token isn't really being used for this project. The project, the StainX doesn't really need Labs token, so the utility is what caused this, right? But that's something that can be fixed, and it's not that that the management is saying Bernard Liu is the CEO, so we're going to use Bernard Liu as the guy in place for the management because he's the one that runs the show. he hasn't said, oh yeah, we're ditching Labs Group, and he can't really do that because that's really going to be bad for him, you know. And people like to preserve themselves, right, and like to you know, make sure they're seen in the best light, right? Especially for something like business, guys, because a community that is upset is gonna make it be known, and that's gonna really tarnish that guy's reputation. So for anything just like that, and I don't think this project is a rug pull. So I mean that's a good thing. These guys are really working. That product StainX is going to be a really good product. You know, they have partnerships with Arsenal, they have, which is a soccer team, and they have partnerships with Huawei, which is like a electronics company, big electronics company. I don't know what else they do. And well, you know, they're moving in the right direction. Okay. Bernard Liu said that the utilities will come after they launch their product. They're basically just working on the product, making sure they have a good product, and then they're going to add things like Web3, and then they're going to add the utility of Labs Group. And the community doesn't really like that. They also didn't like that they got rid of the liquidity and put the liquidity that was in PancakeSwap. They just basically got rid of all that, and they're like, it's not our responsibility to provide that liquidity. But they did say that they were going to do buybacks later after they situated their whole product and they got everything going. They're going to do buybacks. So I mean that's a good thing, you know, because currently the management team doesn't have any tokens, you know, and it's like you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't, because you know, if you have too many tokens, that's bad, right? But if you have none, apparently that's also bad, because now you don't have any skin in the game. So I'm like, I see this as an opportunity. I had already filled my bags here because I bought this. I bought in between two, but I mean, I filled my bags here, and I was like, I'm just gonna hold. And then this happened, you know, this whole thing, and I assessed the situation, and I'm like, is this bad or is this an opportunity? And I think it's an opportunity. That's why I actually gone over my target amount buying here, because why not? I think it's a good project, and I think it's going to do well. You know, being in real world asset narratives, man, I'm telling you, it's you need some exposure, and this is actually not a bad token. This is not a bad price. It's just a difference of opinions, but you know, all this is going to be fixed. All this is fixable. Bernard Liu is not, it doesn't seem like a stupid man, and he wants this project to succeed, you know. So eventually they will put utilities. Lab token is going to be a part of the whole StainX Labs Group system. You know, will they come out with another token? I don't know. I don't know. This might scare them to think, maybe not. But if they do, it's not the end of the world, because other real world asset projects are coming out with two. There are basically all 2 token projects now. You know, the ones that didn't, like Landshare, for example, is coming out with another one. The community didn't cry; they stayed strong. You know, so I mean, I think this is more of a community issue, community problems than really of the management. Difference of opinion, and eventually they will merge again. You know, and Labs token is going to be used, I believe. You know, we're waiting for an AMA. The community is going crazy still, and that's why I think this is an opportunity. You could buy this, and eventually it will rebound and come back up, and I will be much better positioned to even just coming back up to these levels. But I think this token has a lot of promise, and I think this token can do really well. Out of my real world asset plays, Rio is the one I like most. But Landshare, man, I have a good amount of chunk of money on all of them. So there's your low cap info for the day, guys. It should also be mentioned ETFs, right? I didn't touch on ETFs. ETFs are important. Just come to find out today that, which it was kind of expected, that the most recent, the SEC delays ARK's Bitcoin ETF decision amid potential U.S. government shutdown. So they're using the potential U.S. government shutdown as their reasoning why. So they're going to delay more than likely into next year. Probably the first half of next year. So the first half of next year should be pretty interesting if the SEC continues to delay, which I think that's probably going to be their game plan. So there it is. But you never know. It could be surprising. I don't think so, because Gary Gensler is a dick. Let's leave it there, guys. Let's leave it there on that note. If you like what you're seeing, guys, you know, please, it'd be cool if you can give a like, if you can subscribe, if you can leave a comment be greatly appreciated. I'm trying to grow this channel like I've grown the Spanish channel. You know, we have almost 7,300 subscribers over there. We have like 7 here. So I mean, if you can help, if you like it, I'm gonna do my best to. I will be doing one video a day, Monday through Friday, guys. All right. So the information I provide is good. I've been in crypto since 2018. I do know what I'm talking about. I like low cap gems. I like looking at the market. I'm not a trader, but I do like looking at charts and getting an idea. I look at the rest of the market because I'm 42. It's not just Bitcoin. You can't just look at just Bitcoin to know what's going on. You have to look at the whole picture to know exactly what's going on and get an idea, to get a feel, and look for the best point of entry, because right now is the best time before the halving to accumulate. It really is. All right, using dollar cost average, you can change your life at 90 to 200 days after the Bitcoin halving. You know, when we top out at around 200, or between 100 and 200 bucks. I mean $200,000 per Bitcoin. You can change your life if you buy the right altcoins, and I'm trying to give you that information. So yeah, see what happens. Let's see what happens. So again, like, subscribe, and hit the bell notifications to receive all notifications on my videos Monday through Friday. All right, 20 minutes. I'm out. I'll see you guys later. Peace.